Hello, and welcome to Music Monday, New Mexico. My name is Alma Castro, and I'm your host for today. And it is my great pleasure to introduce you to Celloquacious.
Thank you, Alma. The first song I'm going to play is Archetype, which is the first song on my EP from When the Veil Thins. So my whole album is centered around the elements, and that first song is the earth element. Now we're going to move to the air with my next song, Hopeful. So hopefully that song was meditative and relaxing for you. The next song that I'm going to be playing is now from the fire element, Endeavor. And this is the third song on my EP, which is available through streaming services such as Spotify. Thank you. So the next song that I'm going to be playing is my fourth song on the album, and it's called Out at Sea, so it embraces the water element. I grew up sailing in New York and Lake Ontario, and this song won the 2020 New Mexico Music Awards in the Ambient Contemporary Instrumental category. So the next song that I'm going to play is called Acceptance, and this was the last live performance that I did right before everything locked down. I debuted this song, so it's a little bit more electroacoustic with some of the effects that I'm going to be using here. So. All right, the next song that I'm going to be playing is a heart song, so it's named Hjärta, which is a Swedish word. I was working on this song when I was in New York, and my brother and his family from Sweden were visiting, so that's partly why it has the Swedish word. So from there, I'm going to be playing a nature meditation. So I really got into macro photography last summer during the shutdown in 2020, and I incorporate this into my video actually that you can see on YouTube. So this is nature meditation. last song is also a nature meditation. This one focuses on bees. So I'm also working to help support a local nonprofit called Think Like a Bee, and also working with Baba Yoga Studios to help with that, doing cello and yoga. And I will continue, with my efforts to help with the environment and our pollinators, the precious pollinators.
Hello, good evening. My name is Alma Castro, and I will be your host for today's Music Monday, New Mexico. It is my great pleasure, and I'm super excited to introduce you today to Keely Mackey. She's also known as Celloquacious, and as you heard for a few minutes, we have an amazing cellist who is here with us doing some healing music, doing some steampunk. Talk to us a little bit more about your music, Keely.
Thank you. So thank you so much for having me. My music that I started as a solo artist using the looping station kind of came about by accident, but I think that the music, because I've been playing since I was 9, so for many decades now, and playing across multiple genres, but based in classical, the music just started pouring out of me. It just came to me, and the responses that I was getting from people was they felt healed by my music. They felt sometimes that their pain was even diminished, which is, a great honor. And so all of my music is inspired by nature's elements. I spend a lot of time in nature, skiing. I skied 33 times in Taos last season. I grew up sailing since I was 6.5 months old in New York on Lake Ontario, just spending time hiking in the mountains, walking, observing nature. So I think just through my life experience, all this music, comes from me or through me is the way that I feel. And then as far as steampunk, it's a genre. A lot of people aren't familiar with it, but I think the easiest way for me to use 2 words is I call it futuristic antiquity. So the futuristic component is utilizing the looping station, where I'm building live loops of sound, where I press a pedal, it records for 30 seconds, I press it again, and I can build these layers. And that way I can play solo cello, but still sound like I have a cello orchestra playing sometimes in a way. And so being able to play solo has given me some freedom that was actually encouraged by, I would like to thank Jake Gutierrez, because he actually gave me the looping station and said, I love your music, I'd love to see what you could do with this. And then I was supposed to go record with a band, and it was going to be my pieces and they were going to accompany me, and it got canceled at the last minute, but I was all ready to record my music, and Jake said, why don't you come over, because he has a home recording studio. And so when I was recording there, he said, you don't need anybody else, this stands alone. So I think the message there to me is, it's not always like our wishes. It wasn't my wish to be a solo cellist necessarily, but that this is a path that I think, that I've been supported on and encouraged on. And it's something that I gain a lot of fulfillment from. And I'm also trying to make the world a better place through my music. These are difficult times, so if people can listen to my music and feel relaxed and feel calmed, that would be, such a wonderful place for my music and their lives. So
Definitely, and a reminder that we can find Keely's music at Celloquacious at almost all avenues. We have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have YouTube, where you can see some of your macro photography in collaboration with your music. Is that correct?
Yes. So I am a visual artist. I do have a bachelor's degree in art, and I've taught visual arts over the past couple of decades. And this last summer of 2020, I was teaching middle school and high school students my own art class, because I do have my own business, Amused LLC. And I wanted us, because we were in lockdown at that point, I wanted us to look more closely at nature in our own yards, that you don't have to go to the mountain, you don't have to go out of the state, that there's so much, even if you just sit and look more closely in your own yard or your own neighborhood, which is what a lot of people were doing during that time. And it kind of happened by accident, because I took my phone and I said, well, sometimes in order to do the drawing, you can see more detail if you take a photograph of it too. But because I had just gotten a new iPhone 11, I had no idea the quality of the camera itself. And so Then I spoke with a friend of mine that I grew up with who's a professional photographer. He told me I could get attachment lenses. So I use an attachment macro lens, which magnifies everything 15 times. And this was something that I literally spent 40 hours a week in the summer of 2020 doing, was the macro photography, going on nature walks, hiking, noticing these small details that were revealed to me through this lens. And it's like we have these worlds within worlds that we might not know about until we can look really closely and slow down. And so I do incorporate these into my music videos, which you can see on YouTube. And I also have gallery on Instagram, my Celloquacious Instagram. You can see the macro photos. People have been buying them from me as well. And I hope to be doing displays to help raise awareness, especially about our pollinators. And we all know that bees are especially at risk. And it's not just the honeybees, it's especially the native bees. So having like native wildflowers that you plant in your own yard can help them, and not using pesticides and things like that can help, because we do depend on them, on our pollinators.
So talk to us a little bit about the seeds that you brought in today. There's a not-for-profit organization that you're working with to promote the pollinators in New Mexico, is that correct?
Yes. So right now I'm doing a yoga series with Bhava Yoga, where we're also working with a nonprofit local organization called Think Like a Bee. And Anita is the head of that organization. And so I'm doing yoga classes where I also play my bee meditation song, which you'll hear today. And it's a way for people to rejuvenate and relax. So helping them like be nurtured, and then at the same time nurturing bees. So we give them the seeds, and they have a little bit of a talk, and then they're also contributing by donating to Think Like a Bee, which is our local nonprofit. And the way that I heard about Think Like a Bee is I'm involved with New Mexico Interfaith Power and Light, which focuses on, in New Mexico, helping the environment. So if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see some of the ways that I've been involved with them through big events that they do statewide, and that my music is, again, part of a meditation for people to help ground us, especially in the elements of the earth, the air, fire, and water, which is what my album revolves around, those 4 elements.
Most definitely, and it was beautiful to hear some of your songs revolving around the elements and revolving around nature. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about the motto?
Okay, this right here.
The key.
So I came up with this. Like I said, I'm also a visual artist. So when I drew this, I actually used a quill with an inkwell. So that goes back to the antiquity. My cello, using a quill and ink, and drawing this by hand. And around it says, music unlocks dimensions words themselves cannot utter. So, and then you can see there's a Victorian key, which steampunk is rooted in the Victorian era, but then goes into the future. And I do sell these as part of my merch, but I also have used them for fundraisers. When we do events and we're trying to raise money for something, I'll also sell them for that as well. But as far as Celloquacious, people ask, well, why don't you sing when you play the cello? Because I can sing, but when the music comes to me, I say it comes in images of sound. And people have come up to me afterwards, and they have a positive feeling about that, because music itself is a universal language. Like, I'm speaking English right now, but it doesn't matter what language you speak. It doesn't matter if you're even an animal. Like, animals respond to my music. I have a bird that'll sing along, and you'll see that on YouTube. And my Roishin Dubh, which is Gaelic for Black Rose, which is a traditional Irish song. You'll hear my parakeet singing along in the background on that one. And so people being able to bring their own experiences and their own interpretations, and that my pieces in and of themselves can kind of help them on a healing journey. And by listening to something more than once, it becomes more meditative, because it becomes familiar and it becomes soothing and calming. for them.
And so a quick reminder that we can find your music on Spotify, on
Yes.
YouTube,
Yes.
Instagram. That's all going to be Celloquacious.
And Facebook.
And
Yeah.
Facebook as well. Some amazing music videos, some amazing photography. Check those out. KeelyMackey.com is where we can find your merchandise and your LP, which
Yes.
I have right here.
Yes.
You guys can check out Celloquacious. Thank you so much, Keely, for being here on Music Mondays, New Mexico. I'm sure it's not the last that we're going to see from you, but please check out her music, Celloquacious, YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, and KeelyMackey.com. Thank you so much.
Can I thank you, Alma, as well? I want to thank you for your time. I also want to thank Desante. I had the pleasure of speaking with him on the phone, and I really appreciate your endeavor of helping to bring about awareness of New Mexico musicians. So I really appreciate that.
Of course, yes, and welcome to the Music Monday community. We hope that we can all support each other in creating live music, in creating all types of different healing arts. Music is part of our personal healing in this community, and we'd like to invite you back to the show again. Thank you so much, Keely.
Thank you.